told the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. The story does not add up in any way, shape, or form, and so I'm going to ask the questions that have not been answered yet. Starting with a heavy one. The footage that we saw of the front of Charlie's neck, was that an entry or an exit wound? I ask this because entry wounds are much, much smaller. They are much more defined and consolidated to a smaller area than an exit wound. Exit wounds oftentimes look like an explosion type. It's more graphic. So if the exit wound was in the back, it surely should have looked a lot more intense than the front of his neck, right? Why wasn't there any blood spatter on the white banner behind Charlie? Another question I have about this is when they were carrying Charlie to the car after he was shot, where was the blood trail? If the back of his neck was supposed to be the exit wound, surely there would have been a blood trail. And there's footage out right now that you can look at of them carrying him to the car, and there's not a blood trail. Why wasn't this handled like a regular crime scene? Why was his security taking down a camera that was posted up behind Charlie during the shooting? Because that will show you key evidence of what happened. And it was taken down minutes after it happened. Who took that camera down? Where is that footage and what was seen on that footage? I also want to know, why was everybody walking around the area? If a horrific crime just happened where we saw the blood, we saw it with our own eyes, why wasn't anybody looking on the ground and being careful where they were stepping behind Charlie? It was supposed to be more graphic behind Charlie if we're talking about an exit wound being at the back of your neck. So where was the blood behind him? There were multiple decoys in this incident. It almost seems like there was a patsy, because you remember that older guy who was taken into custody. His name turned out to be George Zinn. And ironically, George Zinn was also featured in many 9/11 interviews blaming Al-Qaeda for the 9/11 attacks. The gun that they are saying was found in the woods that was used for this crime is very difficult to take apart and put back together. It's time consuming. And so we saw him running off of the building. He ran and jumped off of the building, no gun in sight. Okay, so he must have put it in his backpack, put it in his pants, whatever they think happened. They apparently say that he disassembled it. But why would he reassemble it in the woods then before leaving? Make it make sense. What was the visibility like on the building that the so-called shooter was shooting from? Because he was shooting from higher up. Charlie was underneath a tent with the crowd very close to him. So they were up very close. It would have been a really tough shot, and he got it right on the money on the first try. So has anybody gone back there to see what the visibility would be like from that range with that type of gun? Where are we at with that? Netanyahu is acting incredibly suspicious. He somehow tweeted at the exact same time as Donald Trump to announce that Charlie Kirk was killed. Why is a foreign leader tweeting at the same time as a US president announcing the death of a very prominent political figure in America? We're now seeing countless videos surface of him changing his mind on his stance on Israel within the past couple of months. As recent as about 5 days ago when he appeared with Ben Shapiro talking about, are we to trust everything that we're hearing about Israel? Why can't we question it? It all seemed very rushed. He was home in his casket within 48 hours of being killed. Everything was very swift. What does the hospital have to say? What do the surgeons at the hospital have to say?